be up here on this stage and entertain this beautiful crowd, but I'm actually here to give you some scientific insights on laughter and try to encourage you to use laughter in your everyday life. I think we all know that, right? I think we all know that laughter is a joyful expression. It is it's commonly associated with positive sensations. It is the universal language of joy. And according to Mark Twain, it is actually a very effective weapon that we have as humanity, as humans. To start off, to very simply define laughter, it is of course a very physical reaction. It's a physical reaction that's associated with rhythmic movements, rhythmic contractions of the diaphragm and of other parts of our respiratory system, and it's often associated with audible contractions. It is essentially a reaction to external or internal stimuli. In other words, we usually laugh when we are tickled or when we hear a humorous story or when we have a humorous thought or a feeling. It's very much about positive sensations. Scientists actually categorize laughter into 5 broad categories. This is based on their therapeutic knowledge, essentially. We have spontaneous laughter, which is triggered by external factors, and it's not really induced by the individuals. It is triggered by positive feelings. We have stimulated laughter, which is very much the opposite. It is induced by the individual, it's self-induced. We have stimulated laughter, which is actually triggered by external factors, such as being tickled. And we have 2 other categories which are quite interesting when I did my research. We have induced laughter, which is laughter that arises as a direct result of the effects of a substance like alcohol or the result of drugs such as cannabis or LSD. And scientists also have a 5th category called pathological laughter, which is the effect of injuries in the central nervous system or injuries that have to do with neurological diseases, and it's not really up to the individual. It is not up to the individual to control their laughter. So that's more of a pathological aspect. But the psychologists in the room as well, and the psychology students in the room, laughter has very much a biological basis. In other words, it triggers pleasure centers in the brain. It actually is associated with areas of the brain that are very deep. There are subcortical regions in the brain, and there are 2 of them are the nucleus accumbens, which is an area that has to do with our reward system, and the insular cortex, which is an area that has to do with expressing emotions. So this reaction is very much a biological, of course, reaction. Having said that, of course, laughter is really a social behavior. It occurs when we are amongst other individuals. We are prompted to laugh when we are with others. It is actually very much about making and maintaining bonds. And the fact that we are more likely to laugh when we are with others shows exactly how much it is about bonding. And it's about encouraging relationships, and it's about enhancing those relationships. And it's actually a very important social skill that we have. We are encouraged throughout our life to use laughter, and we learn when it's appropriate to laugh and when it's not appropriate to laugh. So it's actually a very important social skill. Scientists have tried to understand more about laughter, even though it's a relatively new field, and they've come up with 3 main theories, in a sense, to try to explain laughter. And I'll try to give you just a little bit of a general understanding of these 3 theories. One of them is arousal theory, which argues that essentially laughter eases arousal and tension, because stress often increases our arousal levels. So laughter comes along and eases some of that tension, and we are more likely to experience less stress as a result. Another theory is called superiority theory, which argues that actually we use laughter often when we put other people down or when we feel superior to others. So it's a way for us to increase our self-confidence. A third theory argues that, I have forgotten the third theory. That's okay. Discrepancy theory, here we are. Discrepancy theory argues that at a moment of discrepancy, when there is a sort of imbalance between something that an individual thinks about and something that actually occurs, is something that brings about laughter. So there's a cognitive imbalance, and the laughter that comes along is actually a very positive sensation. It's a positive enlightenment that releases the situation. Essentially, even though there are different theories, essentially, laughter has evolved as a relief of nervous energy, and it is actually the ideal antidote for stressful situations. So I want to tell you a little bit more about how laughter can actually benefit us, because it has so many physiological as well as psychological outcomes and benefits. I'll give you some physiological outcomes first, because they're quite interesting. Laughter relaxes our muscles, and it actually reduces our heart rate and our blood pressure, so that's very physical. It also reduces pain. It is a skill, essentially, that can be used to reduce the stress hormones that we secrete in our blood. Cortisol, for example, or epinephrine, even though the evidence there is not particularly conclusive, but most scientists agree that laughter reduces our stress hormones and increases our immune system defenses, and is generally a positive sensation which helps us cope better with stressful situations. According to Yim, who's done research in 2016, the psychological benefits actually of laughter are far greater than the physiological effects, the physiological outcomes, and we have a lot of different psychological effects here. As you can see, laughter can reduce tension, stress. It can actually counteract the effects of depression. It gives us hope. It elevates our mood, makes us feel happier. It can enhance our creative thinking. It can enhance our problem-solving ability. It gives us more insight. It can actually help improve our interpersonal relationships. There are a lot of benefits when it comes to psychological benefits. Even when it comes to learning as well, laughter can actually be very beneficial. In the classroom, for example, using laughter can help students decrease their stress, enhance their participation, and increase their motivation to learn. And again, coming back to the biological aspects of laughter, on a biological level, laughter can actually trigger those pleasure centers in the brain. And as again, the psychology students in the room would know, triggering emotions can actually enhance our ability to learn. Because whenever emotion is associated with something that we learn, we are more likely to remember that information. There's a direct relationship between emotions and learning. So again, laughter here has a very positive effect. I'd like to give you a little bit of research, just to make this a little bit even more scientific about how it is that laughter can actually be so beneficial and can act as a stress buffer. According to a study that was done in 2003 by Bennett and his associates, 33 subjects actually participated in watching a humorous video, and as a result of the video, their stress levels were measured as well as their immune system function was measured. What the study found, not surprisingly perhaps, is that, of course, laughter had a positive effect and stress levels were reduced. Participants reported fewer self-reported stress symptoms, and their immune function was actually much higher. Again, supporting some of the literature that I've presented. In another study that was done on dental patients who were about to go through dental surgery, again, laughing and making jokes before the surgery was beneficial because it helped them again cope with the surgery more and experience fewer self-reported symptoms. There's a lot of research out there, even though laughter is a new field. Scientists have actually explored it and continuously find the positive effects of laughter. In a study done in 2002, for example, the researchers found that laughter elevates mood, and even 1 minute of laughter a day is actually enough to give us elated energy and make us feel better during the day. So even 1 minute a day can actually be very beneficial. In a much more recent study that I came across from 2020, Zander, Schellenberg, and their associates found that frequently laughing during the day is actually enough again to reduce our stressful responses. The more we laugh during the day, the more opportunities we have to experience a joyful expression, the less likely we are to feel symptoms of stress, which is fantastic and it's very encouraging. Therefore, I'm standing here and I think my message to you is that laughter is a very important skill, it's a very important social skill, it's a social behavior, and we need to be encouraging each other to laugh more. We need to be insulating ourselves more with laughter. We need to laugh with each other. We need to laugh as much as possible throughout our day. We all cope with very difficult circumstances, whatever we do in our everyday life, and it's important, since the brain has neuroplasticity, which is the ability of our brain to change as a result of experience, it is important that we actually benefit from the advantages of laughter. So my message again today is that laughter is the best medicine, and we should all try to laugh more and keep ourselves mentally and physically healthy. Thank you.